Hi guys, welcome back. This is test A2A for assemblies for CAD. So we're going to run through this model fairly quickly. We're going to create this first part over here, which is the bracket, and then we will create this key kind of looking thing. For this part, I'm going to start off by creating a solid block, like a rectangular prism. It has a width of 50, a length of 50, and a height that we will determine in a short while. So we're given this height over here. I'll show you the procedure to get that I use to get this height over here, this total height, and then to eliminate this small little piece over here. So what I did was I created a rectangle, and then I used to just make everything, centralize everything. And then you can dimension. So this was 25 and this was 50. And then we can extrude this in both directions as 50. Now instead of going to the front view, because this is the front view, I went to the side view and I did some sort of procedure to get this height over here, which I will show you now. So we create on the left view. So I created a line going straight up at any distance, and then from this point I created, or from just below that point I created another line like that, and then I just made sure that these lines were to this end of this line was there. I just extend that line a little bit, and then you make another line going straight from here going up as well. So now you have these two, this line that you can dimension from this over here as 70, and this is that angle that we're looking for. So we will extrude whatever is within this little triangle that we have over there. So we can extrude this like that, and now we have this part like that. So this is the front view and that is the side view. The next thing we need to do is we need to get rid of this piece over here, but before we do that I'm going to extrude everything in this cutout, and I'll do the same on this side. So here we know that this is a distance of 25 and this has a height of 5, so we can just extrude that, create another sketch on here, and then we'll just create whatever like that, and then just dimension the bottom to this bottom as 5, and then you can just extrude this whole thing a distance, well, you cut a distance of 25 and you're left with that. So that part of, if you look at the front view, then this part is created. So we can do the same thing on the back view. We also know that this thickness is 5 and it runs, it's not a straight triangle that runs, it runs, it's like a bar or a slab that runs up, at an angle like that. So if we go back here and we go to this side, we can do more or less the same procedure. Let's just create a line like that. What you can do is instead of dimensioning this, just project geometry and then make this line parallel to that one. Alright, now that it's parallel, you can give this a thickness of 5. There we go. And then we can extrude this, well, cut it a distance of 20. This area will cut in the back a distance of 20. And then if we look at the front view, we're left with this part that we are looking for. So now we need to get rid of that extra bit of material that we have over there. So the way we do that is we use this auxiliary view, and if we go and create a new sketch on this piece like that, we can take a point, because we're given this entire distance over here, we know it's 50 millimeters, so we just take a point and we'll place it along there. So if we take a point, let me just put this on there, we can take a point anywhere here and then dimension this point this side as 50, and then we just take a line like that, and you can extrude all of this, or well, cut it away. You can remove all of that material. And then you are left with this over here. That is the part that you want to create. So we just repeat this step now to create the slot and the hole that goes through. The hole is 10 millimeter, a diameter of 10 millimeters, and this slot is 5. So let's take a point and we'll place it over here. We know that this is 15 millimeters from here, and it is 12 millimeters from here. Then we can create this hole of diameter 10, and then we can create another point in line with this one, and we can dimension that as 20 as given over here. And then you can use the slot feature, which is this one over here, on these points, and then you can dimension this radius as 5. Oh, the width is 5, not the radius. So let's just go back. You can dimension this width as 5. There we go. And then you just trim this up. And then you can extrude this. And there you have that feature created as well. The last few things we need to do is the countable holes and the rib feature for this. So the countable holes we can do quickly. We know it's 10 and 10. The center is 10 and 10. So let's just do that quickly. Take a point and just place it anywhere. This distance is 10, and this distance is 10 as well. And then we can do a countable hole, and it's 2 holes, diameter 6, and then it is diameter 12 and 2 deep. So this is diameter 12, this is diameter 6 and 2 millimeters deep, just like that. And then we can mirror this, just add this plane in over here, make it visible, and then I will mirror this feature over this plane. There we go. And so now we have both countable holes in. The last two things we need to do is the fillets, and the rib feature. So the fillets are, what do they tell us? Okay, radius of 3. So go here, fillet with radius 3, it's on these edges. I think those are the only edges, yeah. So just 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and then now we need to create the rib. So we're going to click on this, and we'll just drag that a distance of 22.5, which I think I got there. Okay. Now what we can do is we can project geometry on this edge. And this surface over here. And then we're just going to create a line from this edge going up a certain distance. We'll dimension this as 45 as given to us here. There we go. I'm just going to slice these graphics quickly, and then I'm going to trim this away, and then we can create the rib from here. So it's not in both directions because we have our plane. As you can see, we have this distance over here, so we'll just extrude it 5 millimeters to the back of the plane that we created. So this is thickness of 5 millimeters. To the back, and it should be exactly like that. There we go. Then we can just hide this plane, and that is the first part created. Okay, now we need to create this little key piece over here. So let's start off by creating this diameter and then extruding the entire this length over here, then the small little piece, and then that length over there. So if we create a new feature, we can start off by creating a circle with a diameter of 12. And we can extrude this a distance actually extrude everything to the back, a distance of 25. Like that. And then if we just go to the back, we can create a new sketch over here, and this was diameter 5 with a thickness of 5. So we can make a circle over here. This is diameter 5. Extrude this a thickness of 5. And then the last one was diameter 10 with a thickness of 5 as well. So there's the basic model that we need. Before we do anything else, on the front of this we need to create a sketch over there. And then we just need to add in, just add something like that. Make sure that this point is in line with this one. And then dimension this as 4, as given over here. Then just extend this down. And you can extrude all of this over here. This is a cut of 15 millimeters. And so then you have that part over there. Then we need to create the chamfers. So it was 1 by 45, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4 on every edge. So if we create a chamfer of 1 millimeter, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is the key part of the model created. Okay, now we need to create the assembly for this model. Since we have the IPT parts, they do tell us here that there must be 3 constraints between the 2 parts. The pin should still have 1 degree of freedom or rotation. So the degree of rotation would basically be that this is able to rotate in here. However, it mustn't slide up and down, nor should it be able to move through the bracket itself. So if we go ahead and create an IAM, then we can place this bracket as our grounded, in the grounded position. Okay, and then we can place the key as well. Okay, so I'm just going to rotate this to that side. Alright, that's better. So now all we have to do is we can constrain this to this section over here, like that. Okay, and then we can constrain this piece to that piece over there, and so it should have 1 rotation. It shouldn't be able to move anywhere else, nor should it be able to move up and down. So that is the 1 degree of rotation. There must be 3 constraints between the 2 parts. I only have 2 constraints, which I'm not sure exactly what the others would be. It's this one and this one, but I only have 1 degree of freedom over here. So I'm not exactly sure what the other constraint would be, but this is how you would create this part.